Hey, it's Sonia Cordes here from soniacordes.com, your emotional wellbeing specialist. I felt so compelled to do this video today because I wanted to explain to people something. As a person who helps people facilitate healing experiences where we heal negative trauma, depression, anxiety, past negative experiences, or more so heal the causes, which allows you to go through some sort of remission or relief from anxiety and depression. I think I need to really explain this very, very clearly, what is really going on when you embark on a healing journey. My first thing I want to say is this: it is not easy. But neither is living with the problem that you currently have. So you've got the problem that you've currently got, and then you start a healing journey, which appears to be creating more chaos and more problems, but then you move into resolution, resolve, and relief. But you've got to go through this stuff in the middle first, okay? Or you can stay where you are and just live with the problem for the rest of your life. That's your choice. You don't have to go on a healing journey. But I want to give you the best analogy to describe what is actually happening when you embark on a healing journey that goes beyond traditional talk therapies, that goes beyond just medicating. Because here's the one thing about medication, it is great symptomatic relief, fabulous, do what you need to do to get yourself feeling calmer and more at ease. But then go, what do I need to do to treat the cause? Because the medication's only treating the symptom. And then the causes are past trauma, past negative life experiences, past significant emotional experiences. That can range from anything from earthquakes to negative relationships, abusive relationships, a childhood that was had a lot of upheaval, parents that were emotionally unavailable, brothers and sisters that bullied us, being bullied at school, being bullied in the workplace. It doesn't matter what the cause is. It's just a case of knowing that if we treat the cause, then we unravel the symptoms, and then we allow the body and the mind to go into some sort of state of healing. But here's what happens when we start on a healing journey. That middle part is yucky. It's freaking horrible. In fact, I know because I've been on a healing journey and I continue to go on a healing journey. And you can talk to anyone who's really diligently, consistently worked on their stuff at a really deep, energetic, mind-body level, and they will tell you it is confronting. But unfortunately, Western medicine has created this mentality of a dichotomy. One side of the thing is you need years and years and years and years and years of therapy to get over your problem, or you need to have therapy for the rest of your life. That's BS, you don't. The other dichotomy is this: you quick fix it by taking a medication and doing nothing else. So on one hand, we want a quick fix, but on the other hand, we have this mentality that's going to take forever, so we don't bother at all. And we just take a quick fix and then we don't do anything. But a true healing journey, a really successful healing journey, allows you to work with not only your mind, but also your psychology, your emotions, your spiritual well-being, and your physiological well-being. That is a true healing journey. And I'm going to explain it like this. This is the best analogy. If you've ever been into a house that's in the middle of a renovation, think about a house reno. You start with something that just isn't very ideal. Like it's run down, you don't like it anymore, it's cold, it's damp, and you don't want to live in it. It's just not a nice place to be. Or you can see or sense that even though it's probably okay, there's more potential. So imagine that's you right now at the beginning of a well-being journey or a healing journey. Now with a renovation, right, you don't just go from I don't like this here and I'm going to end up with this amazing house and an outcome. Hell no. What happens in the middle of a house renovation? You have to pull down walls, rip out curtains, rip out carpet, rip out wall units, create absolute chaos. And anyone that's ever walked into a house that's in the middle of a reno, or any of you who's ever lived in a house that's in the middle of a reno, will know this is crap. This middle part where there's no curtains and there's no carpet on the floor and there's no furniture in the house and there's dust everywhere, you know it's not very nice. And your home is one of your most, important things in your life. It's a really important investment. We spend money on it, we invest in it when we want it to get here and look good. Now, do we get to the middle of a renovation and go, oh, this is not going to work, this is crap, look at it, what a mess, I'm giving up, I want to go back that way? But you can't go back that way because you've already started the journey. You've already started going into the yuckiness. And that's the house renovation mid-stage. But then think about what happens when all that dust has been cleared away and all the new units have been put in and the new curtains and the new carpet and anything that is required to make it pristine and beautiful at the end. What happens when you get to this stage here? What happens? You have the most incredible outcome. You have the most beautiful house renovation that you've always wanted. But you didn't go from here to here overnight. You didn't go from here to here without some problems in the middle. Your plumber getting sick, the wrong size wall units being ordered, right? You didn't. And yet, as humans, we think our healing journey should go from here to here. We think there should be none of this yuckiness in the middle. Like, for instance, if you're someone who's been living with a lot of depression and you've never allowed yourself to grieve your past or grieve your childhood or feel the sadness that you feel when you think back to how your life was, then of course when you go into a healing journey, that sadness is going to come up. That sadness is going to come up and it needs to be addressed. You don't ignore it. You don't push it back down. Pushing it back down is half the problem in the first place. And the other thing is, if anger's coming up, it's because for so long you may have been so flat with depression that you were probably incapable of feeling anger or sadness, and particularly if you're on medication, because that stuff squashes down your natural flows and ebbs of your emotions. It squashes it all. Yes, it can help you feel good because it's putting fake serotonin into your brain, but it's keeping the serotonin at such a high level that that's not maintainable, that after time it's going to drop down because your body is not allowed to go through the waves. We're meant to feel anger. We're meant to feel frustration. We're meant to feel sadness. And unfortunately, we're raised in a society that tells us we are not allowed to feel those things. So when we start a healing journey and we have this dust hanging around and this chaos in the middle, we think there's something wrong with us. But as I always say, if you've had anxiety over here and suddenly you feel flat, it's a hell of a lot better to feel flat than constantly anxious. And if you've had a lot of depression and suddenly you're feeling really, really emotional, that's better because it's a sign that you're letting this stuff out. Your body is going through a healing. So rather than look at everything that's horrible about a healing journey as bad, what if it was meant to be? What if it was happening to you to show you all the beautiful emotions that you were meant to be feeling? And I'm yet to have a client that hasn't dropped into that space. Not all clients drop down into that low vibe space who don't come up the other side and feel the joy and the happiness and the playfulness that comes. But it will never come if you stop in the middle, if you give up here. Because if you give up here, you're going to put labels on yourself like I failed, I'm not good enough, this won't happen to me, I can't do this, and you're going to go back down into this space here. So sometimes with the healing journey, we have to take 2 steps forward, and it feels like we're taking a step back, but then we take another 2 steps forward, and we take another one back. But if you give up here, right here, then how are you going to know what it feels like to get to this end here? So this is for all my clients that are working with me at the moment. This is for anyone who's thinking about going on a healing journey. I can tell you one thing I do with my clients. I work through that resistance to change, because if you've had a story of who you are and who you're meant to be and how your life's meant to be for this long, and all of a sudden I start dropping new beliefs into your psyche, your subconscious mind, your brain's gonna go, I'm not used to this, I don't like this, I want to hold on to this old story. I want to keep my house in the disarray that it was in prior. I don't want to do any renovations. I want to stay in the damp, cold, dark, dreary environment because it feels safe. Yet, safety is not what a healing journey is about. It is not about safety. It's about stepping into full acceptance that where you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be. And it's about also stepping into trust and faith. And knowing that if you stick with the journey, if you stick with it, if it takes 12 sessions, it takes 12 sessions. Everyone's different, but if you stick with it, you will come out the other side. you cannot not. You have to be willing to do the groundwork as well. You have to be willing to take on the meditation that I suggest, or doing the mindfulness, or doing the journaling. You've got to be willing to step into that space to try something new. But it's inner work, it's not outer world. We can't change the outer world and expect the inner world to work. It just doesn't work like that. So on that note, I'm going to leave you. Take this information, really embed it. What do you want to be? Do you want to be a rundown old house, or do you want to be a brand new renovation? Because anything is possible. And my heart of hearts, I wouldn't have been doing this for 7 years if I didn't know that this was the case and this is possible. And my own healing journey, which has been 23 years. 23 years. So I'm not saying it's going to take you 23 years, because I've learned all the tools that are helping you to get there quicker. However, it's never going to happen overnight. So be kind to yourself. Be patient to yourself. Put your hand on your heart. Love who you are. Accept that you are perfectly imperfect. And you are and can get better. But you've just got to stay with the journey. From my heart to yours, please, love and light. Anything is possible. We're here to heal. And when you heal those around you. And that is the biggest gift you can give to the world. So love and light to everyone. Merry Christmas.